Hey everyone, and welcome to Market Mondays. We're here, coastaloans.com, going over some interesting things today. Of course, we're going to go over interest rates for FHA and conventional. I have some interesting articles to go over with you. And then I also have a new loan program that I was just introduced to by our lender that actually could be a great option for people while interest rates are a little higher for a few years to kind of ease you in to potentially either save you some money up front, or maybe give you some time to refinance later with some of those lower rates. So let's go ahead and get started with the articles. I'm already sharing my screen. Right here, we have an article that's called Buyers Are Back in Control as a Luxury Home Seller Slash Prices. All right. So asking prices for high-end properties are being reduced at the highest level since 2017. So this article from April 17 is from the Wall Street Journal. It's an interesting article. This one that had some information on the asking prices were about $11 million initially on a house, and then they had to lower it to 8.7 million after a year. So we're talking about, what is that, about 2 million, $2.3 million within a year. It's a big number, right? It's a big number. And of course, here we have some pictures of the house. Right here is a beautiful home. Some of this is in Austin, Texas, and I believe other things maybe I think it was let me not say incorrectly, but here's some of the pictures. These are some high-end homes. I mean, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places. And one of the homes here, it was listed on realtor.com. The share of homes priced at over $5 million that had their price reduced was 7.8%, up 1% from March 2023 and 3% from March 2022. So there have been some price reductions, some price corrections, even at the high end of the market, which typically the high end of the market holds pretty strong. But it looks like there was a big sugar rush with a lot of people paying a lot of money for these homes during COVID times, and some of the prices are not increasing at the rate that they were. These people may still make money on their home. They still make break even on their home, but they may not be able to sell it at these astronomical prices that things were selling during the pandemic, when people weren't really looking at prices and were just looking to get more space, to get more comfortable, and to get out of some of the main cities. The metro area with the largest price reductions was Austin, Texas. Woo! Where the share of 5 million plus home price reductions were about 18.7%. Just call it 20%. And that was up over almost 9% over last year. Year over year means from last year to this year. That is huge, guys, huge. The entry level for luxury properties designed at the top 5% increased by more than 55% from 2019 to 2021, from 1 million to about 1.6 million, almost 1.7. All right, so that, I mean, interesting stuff happening in the market, even at the high end of the market. I'm going to go ahead. This one also talked about Tampa was another place. Recently cut the price of a 6-bedroom waterfront estate to $6 million. It started at $7 million, right? So there's been some price cuts. It looks like it's happening in all of the main cities. Tampa, Austin, and let's see if there's another main city here. This was a beautiful home. I really love that one. And I'll put a description, a little video that there's like a marketing video. So if you want to check that out, and so you can dream a little bit. But this is just home. It's amazing, amazing home. But it didn't sell at the price that they expected, so they had to lower the price, which is unfortunate for the sellers, but it's just coming down to what the market is doing. In this market, sellers can't afford to be lazy about how they are presenting their homes. He said, if you're just going to throw it out there and hope, buyers aren't coming. Presentation, so those are the two main things when you're selling a home: marketing and price. And presentation is part of marketing, but if the price is not right, it doesn't matter how you present it. So let's go jump to the next one. These home sellers are done waiting for the Fed to lower rates. Another one, this is from the Wall Street Journal, April 20th. Not everyone can wait out the toughest housing market in years. Sellers are listing homes because they need to relocate, even if it means giving up super low mortgage rates. So people are moving. May not be a big percentage of people, but some people are moving. Some of these people are empty nesters. They need homes without stairs. They need walk-in showers. They need less space. So they're going to smaller homes. And they also, another one was that I read that they want to be close to families. They also want less maintenance. They don't want to do all the repairs when it comes to taking care of a home, which I mentioned in a previous video what that percentage was. I think it was like around 3% per year. Think of what maintenance is, right? So anywhere from really 1 to 3%, depends on the age of the home. Newer homes may have less repairs, but on average, it's about 1 to 3%. And it happens. So people don't want to deal with that. They want to be able to have a home with less maintenance, or maybe even have a community where they live where they don't have to do some of the maintenance there, like cutting the lawn, taking care of that, etc. It says there were 3 offers per listing now versus 5 offers years ago. Maybe a couple years ago. They didn't say exactly. 48 days on the market now versus 26 days on the market 2 years ago. So about half the time on the market. Now it's taking double the time to sell a home. This was a couple. They were selling a home. The original list price was $1,050,000. They put the 3-bedroom up for that. No buyers had made offers by Thanksgiving, so they took the house off. They relisted the house in February, cutting the price by $150,000. After 25 individual showings, there were no serious offers. Reluctantly, they reduced the price again to $800,000. Woo! So they started off, what was it, $1,050,000? They're at $800,000. That's a $250,000 difference. And let's see. Let's see if they bought the home, blah, blah, blah. Anywhere. They're still waiting for a buyer, it looks like. Because they already bought a condo in cash, but they're counting on the sale of the house to cover some improvements of the unit. So they wanted to be there. Another thing is homes in, let's see what it says. This is another family, the Boltons, Minneapolis. Original list price $199,000. Number of offers, 1 offer. I've been itching to sell this 2-bedroom, 1,200 square foot Minneapolis condo since spring of 2023. So right now we're spring of 2024. It's been a year. And they waited. They actually didn't put it on the market because they thought rates would come down by now, but he couldn't wait anymore. So they listed by March for $199,000. Luke, his wife Lisa, and their sons, who are 12 and 15, had outgrown the space. They also want to move closer to family. Luke's remote work for a financial advisor professional association gave them the flexibility to relocate. Let's see. Selling the condo where the boys grew up recently helped them refurbish the kitchen cabinets is bittersweet. Luke said he also misses 3.25% mortgage rate. So there was a really low rate, but he couldn't take it with him. So, sometimes you have to sell. You can't keep the rates. It's unfortunate because that is a really good interest rate for that time. It was the first received after 2 weeks. So they accepted an offer for $189,000 in late March. It was the first they received in weeks and 7 showings. The buyers agreed to let the Boltons rent back the unit for a few weeks so the boys could finish their school in Minnesota. So it worked out. They could finish up school for the kids, which I know is a big deal. Another one here, Lubbock, Texas. The new rate they got was 6 3/4. So the way that the market is, I mean, that's right in line with the market. And then if interest rates go down, they could also refinance later. So they were able to lock in the price because that price of that home that they bought there, if it's a growing market, it's probably going to increase in price, I would say, from here if interest rates go down. It all depends on the market, but if it's growing, if people want to be there, and it looks like they do, then the price will go up. So locking in that price now is a good idea. Another one, original list price $650,000. Jill Grace, 60, and her husband John, 60, wanted to move to a home that would allow them to age in place. They listed their 4-bedroom, 3,750 square foot West Texas home in December for $650,000. Staging and showing the house has been especially tough because they have 2 cats and 2 dogs. Jill will learn in a prospective I was coming in by about an hour, then race to load up the dogs, hide the litter box, sweep the porch, and make sure the floors were polished. Now, something else with you have animals like that, make sure that you have make sure clean up and have where the smell is controlled, because sometimes there's some homes that people have for sale that the smell, it just deters people. So that they're probably doing that, I think, because that sounds like they may have a real estate agent. I'm anxious about the higher rate and hoping we can refinance soon, right? That's smart, right? They're thinking about refinancing, getting in at a lower rate. The Graces say their house is better for coming decades. The living space is all on one level. The house has wider doors and walk-in showers. God willing, this will be our last house. Right? So people are selling and relocating. Homes are taking longer to sell. Now check out this article. It's like a roller coaster. What's the effing point? With homes selling for $400,000 over asking, bidding wars are pushing buyers to the breaking point. Homes are going for hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking price based on publicly available listing information. So it's happening. Homes are still selling for a lot higher. This one's talking about a 4-bedroom, 3,500 square foot single family house, high-end appliances, lake views, great neighborhood, and a walk-in pantry in West Hartford, Connecticut. The home was listed for $800,000 on May 3rd. 2 days later, the homeowners had picked a buyer from the 17 offers they received, and the sale was pending. One house hunter who was outbid on the home lamented on social media. Apparently, the buyer paid $400,000 over asking in all cash. So I guess that was a very high demand area and a really nice home. People were willing to pay that much money over ask. So it's still happening in this market. We're talking about May 2024, $400,000 over asking. When's this article from? This article is from May this year, right? 2024. So it's frustrating. I feel for the buyer. I feel for the buyer. The aspiring home buyer who requested anonymity to avoid online harassment sent an interview that they had learned the eventual buyer had also waived home inspections. The unsuccessful bidder said they submitted a higher offer and were willing to go even higher to no avail. They had also been outbid in other homes, which added to their frustration. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat someone that's paying $400,000 over asking. So feel good. Console yourself because I know that's huge. You like a house, you're not able to get it. But this is the time to be competitive and go after homes because when the interest rates go down again, and I know I'm biased, guys, but just think about it and analyze it. What's going to happen when interest rates go down? More people jump in the market, more demand, prices go up. All right. They talked about in many major metro areas, buying a house has become a Herculean task in spite of the 7% mortgage rates. It talked about in Essex Fells, New Jersey, a 2-family property was listed for $829,000 in March and sold for $1 million a month later, 15 offers. San Francisco, California, 3-bedroom single-family home built in 1929 was listed for $2 million, sold for 2.7, $700,000 over asking. Bidding wars and competition in general might seem out of place in the market with interest rates staying above 7%. But given the strong demographic trends, where people want to live, continuously pushing hopeful potential buyers into the market without a significant increase in inventory, competition will remain. So not enough houses, a lot of people want to be there, home prices go up. Nationwide, about 27% of the homes, sorry guys, I'm trying to, computer or the article not cooperating. Nationwide, about 27% of homes for sale were sold over asking price in February. So that's about a third of homes sold over asking price. That's interesting. That's significantly higher than in February 2019, when only 19% were sold over asking price. In 2023, more than 24% of homes for sale went over asking price. So it's actually higher than last year so far. That's means that the market, people are getting off the sideline and starting to jump in. Looks like people have been listening to me. The average gap between the list price and the final sales price is highest in San Jose, California. Nearly 70% of homes listed in the metro were sold over list price. Data from Zillow showed. That's up from 2019 when only half listed in there, so for more than asking price. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, are real estate agents or sellers just listing the home slightly below to get attraction? That's a marketing strategy, so just be aware of that too. Just get a lot of buyers to come in, more interest, more demand on the home sells faster. I'm not going to beat a dead horse there, but it talked about a lot of different cities. It talked about Orlando. In April, the inventory of homes for sale surged year over year. Tampa, Orlando, and Jacksonville, according to a monthly report by Realtor.com. In Tampa, listings grew by nearly 70% compared to 2023. So this, kind of going backwards, in Florida and Texas, a surge in housing supply has led home sellers to cut prices to attract buyers. So in Florida and Texas, we have a lot of homes, and they want to sell the home, so then prices are actually coming down. But in some of these other markets where there aren't any homes, you can't build homes in the main city areas where people want to live, then the prices are going up. So be aware of that. Take advantage of the low homes if you can. right now. Now let's go to interest rates. Closing up here. And here we go. So we went over that article, and where are interest rates today? Conventional is 7.125%, APR 7.39%, FHA 6.25%. 6.25% today. Interest rates have come down a bit. Last time we talked, I think it was last week, it was 6.75%, maybe a little bit lower. So that's pretty good for FHA, guys. APR 7.03%. And guys, these interest rates are historically average. I know it's just from the last 25 years, they're a little higher, but over the long term, these are market rates. They're not too high, they're not too low. It's actually a really pretty competitive time. And then if you can find a home, you can then get into lower rates later if they come down, because there's no guarantees that they're going to go down, but everybody expects that. And I believe it will. But so you got to be never know for sure. So, all right. So this is the scenario for this. So it's a conventional loan, $350,000 price, $280,000 loan. Down payment would be $70,000 if you put 20% down. We have a conventional loan product. You can put less down, but I put 20% so you can get the best rate, and you can have also lower payment. So this would be a 20% down, 80% loan to value or loan to cost, 750 credit score. I put 22% debt to income ratio. And the PITI, which is principal, interest, tax, and insurance payment. So this is everything except for HOA. HOA hard to calculate. Some places don't even have an HOA. Would be $2,303.08. All right. So that would be monthly what you would pay to get this house at this price, right? Based on the interest rates above. Now in FHA, we have $350,000 loan amount, purchase price. Loan amount $337,750, down payment $12,250, loan to value 96.5%. So you would put 3.5% down for FHA. Credit score would be 650. Debt to income, I put below 31%. We can go as high as 55 or as high as 55% for FHA and 45% for conventional. So we can work with you if you have debts, and then also can help you create a plan to get them paid down. And then so the PITI payment would be $2,650.23. You're borrowing more, interest rate is lower, but you're borrowing more, and now you have mortgage insurance. And that's another thing why you want to put 20% down, if you can, is to avoid the mortgage insurance. With FHA, you would have it, so that all adds up to your payment, even though you're having a lower rate. All right, so that's the example to calculate this interest rate here. But now let me share something interesting I just recently learned from our lender. One of the lenders we work with is called UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage, and they have tons of programs, probably more than I can count. I would say hundreds of programs. Introductory temporary buy down program, 3, 2, 1. We have can be structured however you want, but this is one that's a good one to go over today, where the first year of your loan, it's called like an introductory temporary buy down. So your interest rate in year one would be 3% lower than the market. So instead of being, let's say, 6.25 or 7.1, you would have a 3% rate or a 4.1% rate for year one. How would that work, right? So let's say for the conventional, we have $1,603.08. That this is what the payment would be. And I'm gonna actually have to calculate for FHA because I wrote in the cost, but I'll fix it in a second. So conventional, $1,603.08. That would be your payment. $1,836.41 in year two, that would be your payment. So year one would be this, year two would be this, year three it will be $2,069.75. You're still saving compared to this. And then the last year you would end up paying whatever the market rate is here for the rest of the loan, which is just like a 30-year loan. You just have 3 years of introductory lower rates, right? Which is pretty cool. On the FHA side, let's go ahead and calculate it together. So 10,132.50 divided by 12, that's $844 that would lower the payment by. Oh, it's a pretty big deal. Minus 844. So that would be your payment would be about 1806. Wowza, right? And then 6755 divided by 12, 562. That would be your payment in year 2. And then in year 3, you know, 2, 3, 6, so these would be the payments for FHA, estimated for FHA and conventional. Just estimated, did a quick calc because I had been correct. So what is the cost of this? So instead of paying $2,650 for the first 3 years, you would pay this the first year, the second year, the third year, still saving, and then the fourth year, this would be your normal payment. The whole key with this, guys, is that you would be able to save on interest. These years kind of get you in, but later on, you can actually refinance and get into a lock in your lower rate if rates go down. Because a lot of people are like, man, rates are going to go down, but I want to wait. Well, no, just buy now. You have a lower rate for a few years, and then in the 30, if rates come down anytime, there's no prepayment. I put it down here. No prepayment penalty. You can just refinance and get into a lower rate. I never recommend refinancing unless the rate is at least 1% lower, because there are closing costs to refinance. So you want to protect that, your home equity. Important points. Can you so now this costs money, so it's not free. It costs money because the money that you're saving in interest, somebody has to pay for it because the bank is not going to get it. And I put this estimated cost for conventional was $16,800 for a 3-year 3-2-1 buy down, and for FHA is $20,000. Now, what you could do is you can ask the seller for a seller credit, and the seller credit could be up to 6%. So let's say in this loan, you can get seller credits of about, what is it, 6% times 21 times 350 equals $21,000 in seller credits. Now, these seller credits can be used either to cover closing costs or for the buy down. Or in this particular case, you could use them for both. You could pay the buy down, and then you'll still have about $5,000 left in this example. So something to be aware of. This is another way. You can use 6% up to seller credits for USDA, FHA, and conventional, 4% max for VA, Veterans Affairs loans. And then you can mix it however you want. Some for closing costs, some for buy down. So sometimes maybe if you want to just cover all your closing costs and then you don't want to pay the buy down out of your pocket, you can say, hey, instead of a 3-2-1, why don't we do a 2-1 buy down? And you only have to pay the interest for those 2 years or 1 year, however you want to do it. Now, last thing is must qualify for the market rate. So you have to qualify for that normal payment because that's what you're going to end up paying if you keep the loan. Then interest rates don't go down, right? Because the loan is a 30-year loan. You would keep it for that time, but you'd start off with a lower rate, which is pretty cool. No prepayment penalty, as I've mentioned, and then so that means you can refinance anytime. Example, if rate goes down in 1 year, can refinance and lock in for 30 years, right? But only refinance if rate is at least 1% lower than your current. All right, I think we're done. So we went over the articles, went over interest rate, and went over this temporary buy down program. Really cool program to help people get going and buy their home. Give us a call, coastloans.com, 407-203-9599. Would love to help you become a homeowner. Would love to help you do your loan. We do residential and commercial. I met with someone looking to buy a business. So excited about that, to be able to help them out. So until then, take care, guys. Denny Troncoso. Bye-bye.